Hello friends, welcome back. This is Himanshu Verma. Till now we have learned transverse electric and transverse magnetic mode of propagation in case of parallel plane waveguide. Now in this lecture we will learn how field distribution of electric field and magnetic field would be visible in between the two planes of parallel plane waveguide. In field distribution we will observe where the field intensity will be high and where it will be low, and how this variation from high to low and low to high take place. The main thing which we can use in plotting the field distribution are these field expressions. By using these field expressions, we can know what would be the field distribution for a particular component of electric field and magnetic field. We can also observe how field distribution changes with change in value of M. That is, for different values of M, different field distribution will take place. Now first we learn field distribution in TM mode in parallel plane waveguide. So first of all, we write expression for various fields available in TM mode of wave propagation. Those fields are Ex is equal to a constant quantity which can be either Ei sin of theta I or Ei cos of theta I, but that is constant, so we represent it with C1. Then cos of Hx, and because H is equal to m pi upon d, so we can write cos of m pi upon d into x. Then e power minus j beta bar z, and then a sinusoidal time varying term, that is e power j omega naught t. But field distribution always shows how the field is distributed in space, or more appropriately we can say the space available between two planes. Therefore, the field distribution always shows field variation with respect to space only. So therefore, in plotting field distribution, we can take time t is equal to 0. It means the field distribution which we are plotting is the field distribution at time t is equal to 0. At different times, that field distribution will change. But we plot field distribution on a single time, and for simplicity we can take that time t is equal to 0. And if t is equal to 0, then in this field expression we can omit e power j omega naught t term, and then finally we have Ax cap which represent direction of Ex. Similarly we can write Ez. First term will be a constant term, either Ei sin of theta I or Ei cos of theta I. It can be represented by C2. Then sin of Hx, and if we replace h is equal to m pi upon d, then it becomes sin of m pi upon d into x into space varying term, that is e power minus j beta bar z. And now because we are considering this field at t is equal to 0, therefore we can omit this time varying term, and finally Az cap. Similarly we can write expression for Hy. Here we have Hi, which is again a constant term, and we represent it with C3. Then cos of Hx, h is replaced by m pi upon d, so it becomes cos of m pi upon d into x into e power minus j beta bar z into Ay cap. Ay cap shows the direction of Hy. Now if we observe these three expressions carefully, then we find that in z direction there is always a sinusoidal variation, and that sinusoidal variation will have a wavelength of 2 pi upon beta bar. This wavelength in z direction is also known as guided wavelength, represented by lambda g, and lambda g is equal to 2 pi upon beta bar. This we have seen in our previous lectures also. So variation of field in z direction is very much clear, means it would be a sinusoidal variation with wavelength 2 pi upon beta bar. Now if we talk about field variation in y direction, then we find that in this expression there is no term which contains y. Therefore we can say there is no field variation in y direction. It means in y direction field always remain constant, and analytically we can say that in y direction, because there is no boundary exist, and if in any direction no boundary exists, so in that direction field will remain constant. Here you can also say there is no boundary present in z direction also. So why there is a sinusoidal variation of field in z direction? Answer is Because in z direction we have traveling wave, and the direction in which wave is traveling wave, in that direction the field variation will always be sinusoidal. It can never be constant in the direction in which wave is traveling. But in x or y direction the wave is not traveling wave. In fact, the wave is standing wave. So therefore in x and y direction we can say, if the direction in which boundary exists, in that direction field variation will take place. But the direction in which there is no boundary, the field remain constant. Therefore in parallel plane waveguide, because in y direction there is no boundary, that's why field will remain constant. Now if we talk about x direction, then in x direction there is a sinusoidal field variation. Either it is cosine or sine. But in x direction, because boundary exists, that's why field have to vary in x direction. Why field variation is necessary in the direction in which boundary exists? Because to satisfy boundary condition, sometimes the field component has to become 0 on the boundary. And if field variation is not allowed, then it can never become 0 on the boundary. So generally in the direction in which boundary exists, a sinusoidal variation of field takes place. Now here question arises, what is the wavelength in x direction? And that wavelength is also known as cutoff wavelength, which is represented by lambda c. So here lambda c will be equal to 2 pi upon this quantity, which is a multiple of x. So lambda c means wavelength in x direction can be written as 2 pi divided by m pi into d. Pi cancel out, so it becomes 2d upon m. So 2d upon m is the wavelength in x direction. Now question arises, what would be the variation of field in x direction? Means in that direction in which boundary exists. We check the field variation for different m. Suppose first we take m is equal to 1. If m is equal to 1, then lambda c becomes 2d. It means for m is equal to 1, wavelength in x direction would be 2d. In our case, separation between planes is d. Because wavelength is 2d, that's why in d separation only half wavelength will come. And if that variation is of sine function, then the field would be 0 on the boundaries, and this half cycle variation will be present between the boundary. This half cycle variation shows that the field is 0 on this plane, then field is maximum here, and field is again 0 on the second plane. This is half cycle variation. If we take m is equal to 2, then lambda c becomes d, because 2 and 2 cancel out. It means now wavelength in x direction is d. Because in our case the separation between planes is d, so in this separation one complete half cycle variation would be present, and that variation can be shown in this way. Therefore for m is equal to 2, the field variation would be such that it is 0 on this first plane, then maximum here, then again 0 in the mid of the planes, then again maximum in opposite direction, and then 0 on the second plane. So this type of field variation will take place. Remember, this type of field variation will take place if that is of sine function. If field variation is of cosine function, then instead of 0, it would be maximum on the planes. Now again, if we take m is equal to 3, then lambda c is equal to 2d upon 3. It means in x direction, one wavelength is present in 2d upon 3 distance. So now first we calculate how much wavelength would be available in d distance. For this, we can use simple mathematics, that is, in 2d upon 3 distance, one wavelength is available. In unit distance, 3 upon 2d wavelength would be available, and in d distance, 3 upon 2d into d wavelength would be available. D and d cancel out, so it gives 3 by 2 wavelength would be available in this separation. 3 by 2 wavelength means 1.5 wavelength. So one wavelength is complete and second is half wavelength. So this kind of field variation would be present for m is equal to 3. Similarly for m is equal to 4, lambda c is equal to d by 2. Means in d by 2 distance, one wavelength would be available. So in d distance, 2 wavelength would be available. Because the separation between the planes is d, therefore 2 wavelength would be available in this separation, and that can be shown in this way. In the similar way, we can plot field variation for m is equal to 5, 6 and so on. If we observe carefully, then we find that for m is equal to 1, only one maxima exists in between the planes. For m is equal to 2, the variation is such that two maxima exist in between the planes. For m is equal to 3, we observe that three maxima present in between the planes. For m is equal to 4, four maxima present in between the planes. Similarly, for m is equal to 5, five maxima will be present between the planes and so on. Here we also observing that as the mode of propagation increases, means value of m increases, the rate of change of field between the planes increases. For m is equal to 1, rate of change of field with change in x is less as compared to m is equal to 2, and field variation is less for m is equal to 2 as compared to m is equal to 3 and so on. So rate of change of field variation increases as the mode increases. If we talk about m is equal to 0, m is equal to 0 means h is equal to 0, cos of theta I is equal to 0, means theta I is equal to 90 degree. That is, electromagnetic wave will propagate parallel to the boundaries. This is a special case which can be found in parallel plane waveguide in TM mode only, that is TM0, which is equivalent to TEM. M is equal to 0 means no variation present along the x direction also. So we can say that for m is equal to 0, no variation would be present along the y direction as well as along the x direction. Field will remain constant in these both directions and only sinusoidally varying in z direction. So m is equal to 0 can be shown just by a straight line. This straight line shows no variation of field along the x direction also. But this is very useful definition, means number of maxima in between the planes indicate that the mode of propagation. For one maxima, mode is 1, for two maxima, mode is 2 and so on. We should also take care number of maxima concept is applicable if field variation is of sine function. Sine function means the field is 0 on the boundaries, means on the planes. If variation is of cosine function, then field will be maximum on the planes. In this case, we can define for m is equal to 1, the field would be 0 only once in between the planes. For m is equal to 2, the field will be 0 twice in between the planes. For m is equal to 3, the field will be 0 thrice in between the planes and so on. This definition we can use if variation is of cosine function. Now after getting this much knowledge, now we see how field distribution will be plotted. In parallel plane waveguide, generally three views can be applicable. Suppose this is a parallel plane waveguide. In this is first plane which is of infinite area, this is second plane which is of infinite area, and this is z direction in which wave is propagating. This plane is at x is equal to 0, this plane is at x is equal to d. If this is x direction and this is z direction, then from right hand thumb rule, this would be y direction. Now here generally three views are applicable. If we see from here into the waveguide, then this would be front view. In front view, we can only see variation of field in x direction. If we see from here into the waveguide, then this is called side view. In side view, we can see field variation along the x direction as well as along the z direction. As we know, field variation along the x direction would depend upon value of m, but field variation in z direction will always be sinusoidal with wavelength lambda g, that is equal to 2 pi upon beta bar. Now next we can see from here into the waveguide, and this is called top view. In top view, we can see variation along the y direction and variation along the z direction. As we know, in the y direction there is no boundary, so no variation will take place. Means field would be constant along the y direction, and in z direction field would be varying sinusoidally with wavelength 2 pi upon beta bar. Therefore, in parallel plane waveguide, y direction field distribution is not significant because there is no variation in y direction, and z direction variation we have only seen in side view. So in case of parallel plane waveguide, only two views, that is front view and side view, are enough to represent a field distribution. Also in z direction, always sinusoidal variation will take place. That's why it is also not significant to show each time, because front view shows the variation in x direction and x direction variation depends upon the value of m. So this variation would be different for different values of m. So this front view representation is very much important for different types of mode. In our study, for first mode, that is m is equal to 1, we will represent all three views, but for higher modes, we will represent only front view.